Hello, I'm Patrycja Wojtkowiak from Websites and TV. We all know how important the humble mobile phone is today, which means there is a large slice of the global audience you just can't reach with traditional SEO, where you're working on web pages and on search engine rankings, trying to appear more prominently in Google. Your customers are looking somewhere else, and it seems that today you need to be prominent in app stores as well as search engines. Graham Sewell is an expert in App Store optimization. He joins me to explain how it works, so let's speak to Graham. Graham, what is App Store optimization, or ASO?
So the app stores are, well, they function like search engines, and they are the main entry points for downloading apps themselves. For brands in particular, it's important to be visible. eMarketer last year actually reported that from an Ipsos survey, the people who answered and downloaded branded apps said that they were actually more inclined to actually purchase from that app, so that's particularly important to be visible. And there's also an important factor of actually getting the ROI on the efforts of actually developing the apps themselves. So all of that plus, I guess, the rise of mobile, it just makes it even more important that you should be visible in the app stores.
What factors determine App Store rankings, and what makes a good App Store page?
Good question. Well, I think you need to consider what the app stores are trying to do themselves. And what they want to do is to make sure that the most popular apps are appearing quite high in the rankings. So really they don't want the latest Vuvuzela app or Flatulence app, for instance, to actually be ranking high. They actually want really popular, great apps to be visible. So then it's a case of, well, what kind of data points do they actually look at? And some of the known ones and the most important ones are downloads in terms of volume and velocity. So the bigger the better, and the quicker the better. Another important one is ratings, which are basically the number of stars that users can rate the apps in the App Store. Last year there was quite a major Apple App Store dance, and the algorithm changed, more focused towards ratings actually, and as a result the apps in the app stores had about a 40 point average change, so that's quite a significant change, particularly if you found yourself going from the top 10 down to, say 40 or 50. So,
what's the process for ASO?
The process, you basically have to find out what the best opportunities are. So if you think about SEO, you're doing things like keyword research, and you're actually finding out where demand is. The next thing is, if you actually have an app that's live, you measure the rankings to see where you're actually ranking at that time. You might want to preserve rankings against keywords where you're ranking quite well, but also to identify opportunities where you could be ranking better. Plus, it's important to actually research what competitors are ranking for. So we look at that as well. Also, once you've identified the opportunities you want to chase, then it's a case of building those into what we call the meta content of the App Store page, which generally is the app title and description. And it's also important to also monitor the changes or the impacts of the changes you make, and just to monitor rankings on an ongoing basis, really, just to see if there's any new opportunities coming in, and to make sure if you dip anywhere, you can do something about it.
How often should you do it?
It really depends how dynamic your particular niche is. It makes sense to monitor rankings constantly, at least once a month. But also the research part of it again, it's determined by how dynamic your market is, but you might be doing things like SEO and paid search, where you might want to incorporate a mobile research element into that as well. You've also got a factor of how many times you update your app in the App Store, because it makes sense to fold your App Store changes into that particular update.